Tirzepatide is the GLP-1 slash GIP that we prescribe for weight loss most often at our clinic. So in this module, we're going to talk about how tirzepatide actually works inside your body, not with heavy medical jargon and terminology, but in a way that helps you understand what you're feeling, what's normal, and why certain habits make this medication work better or worse. Understanding this part is important because a lot of fear and frustration comes from not knowing why something is happening. So the problem that tirzepatide is addressing, most people think weight gain is simply about willpower, calories, or motivation. But for many people, the real issue is misfiring signals in the body, especially around hunger, fullness, and blood sugar. So if you've ever felt like you were hungry shortly after eating or too soon after eating, or you think about food when you're not hungry or it's not a good time to eat or not an appropriate time to eat, or you need larger portions to feel satisfied, or your weight doesn't respond to the same habits that worked for others or that have worked for you in the past, that's often not a lack of discipline. That is typically biology and chemical signaling within your body. So there's two hormones that tirzepatide mimics. It works by mimicking two natural hormones that your body already makes called GLP-1 and GIP. So there are some medications on the market like semaglutide, which is Wegovy, Ozempic, that is just GLP-1. Tirzepatide is duotherapy technically because it's GLP-1 and GIP. These hormones are released after you eat and help your body coordinate digestion, appetite, and blood sugar control. So GLP-1 helps by signaling fullness to the brain and slows stomach emptying. It reduces appetite and food noise. So all things that really help us control our hunger signals. GIP helps by improving insulin response, supporting a more stable blood sugar level, and enhancing how your body processes nutrients. So together, those two help your body respond to food in a calmer, more regulated way. And what you feel because of that is that as those signals improve, many people notice feeling full sooner, staying full longer, and less urgency around food, less cravings, less interest in heavy or greasy meals. And that doesn't mean that hunger disappears completely, and it shouldn't. You need to maintain nourishment and hydration for sure. Hunger is normal and healthy. The goal is appropriate hunger, not constant or irregular timing or not the right timing hunger. Just those lingering cravings and food addiction and food noise. So it does slow your digestion. And why that matters is because one of the biggest effects is how quickly your food will leave your stomach. That's why large meals can feel uncomfortable on these medications. Fatty meals can trigger nausea or diarrhea very easily, and eating too fast can worsen side effects. So this is also why smaller, balanced meals tend to feel much better, especially during day, 3 to 5 after injection day. It's really important to make sure you're eating smaller meals, really avoiding greasy, always avoiding high sugar meals and drinks regardless. But that smaller, more balanced meals tends to feel much better while on this medication. And it doesn't punish you, it just asks you to listen to your body sooner. And I think of this as a tool and as training wheels a lot of times for teaching what healthy habits, healthy meal sizes, healthy intake, like if your body responds really negatively to greasy, fatty foods, well, that is just heightening your body's awareness to how it normally responds anyways, just not on the same level. And you really should steer clear of those meals and substances for the most part, regardless of whether or not you're taking this medication. So this is a training. It is an additive. It doesn't do it for you. This is not a quick stop or one-time solution. This, in many ways, helps train lifestyle habits that are beneficial to you anyways. So the next thing that it really helps with is blood sugar stability and energy. Tirzepatide helps smooth out blood sugar spikes and crashes. So when blood sugar is more stable, energy can be steadier, although a lot of people do experience fatigue and grogginess with new doses or increased doses. But that fades and is modified by good nutrition, good sleep, and making sure the dose is appropriate, because we need to change doses very frequently, typically, especially when someone is getting used to this medication. Cravings are reduced, mood often improves, and fat storage signals are reduced. This is part of why people often feel more even emotionally around food, especially. What tirzepatide doesn't do, and this part is really important, tirzepatide does not burn fat directly. It does not prevent muscle loss on its own. It doesn't replace protein intake by any means, and it doesn't cancel out poor sleep, dehydration, or chronic stress. If nutrition and lifestyle aren't supporting your body, the medication has to work much, much harder, and side effects are more common. This is why we prescribe our patients a caloric intake, protein intake, fiber intake, hydration status, adequate sleep and mindfulness practices, exercise strategy, and coaching. We have resources and coaching sessions to make sure that patients are optimized, but we can't do it for them, and the medication can't do it for them. And results really will feel different for everyone. Everyone's body responds a little differently. Some people feel appetite changes quickly. Some feel subtle changes over weeks. Some notice side effects before appetite changes. And none of these mean that the medication is not working. It means that your body is adjusting at its own pace. And patience matters, you guys. This medication has a long half-life, meaning it builds slowly in your system. That's why rushing dose increases often backfires. More medication doesn't equal faster fat loss necessarily, and gentle, steady progress is typically more sustainable. We start our patients at low incremental doses so that it's sustainable in your body, tolerable to your system. Your body needs time to adapt, and when it does, results are more likely to last. So the big takeaway from this module is that tirzepatide works by supporting your body's natural signaling, not by forcing weight loss. When you understand how it works, you can eat in a way that reduces side effects and set realistic expectations and work with the medication instead of fighting it or worrying about it. In the next module, we'll talk more about what to expect when starting or increasing doses and what's normal versus what needs attention. See you next time.